I think I've always used literature. I've always used books, poems, plays, used it all to help me think. And then when I've been in a tight spot, I suppose the worst spot I've ever been is when my son died. And I was a bit afraid to read actually then, in case if I read something, that it would just cause everything to well up and overflow. So I was a bit afraid of reading to start off with. But actually, the thing that really suddenly mattered a lot to me were the collected poems of Raymond Carver. There's an incredible poem where he gets locked out of his own study and he looks back into his study and thinks about himself. And he doesn't say he's thinking about death, he doesn't say that, but as a reader, you can take it as a way of thinking about a person or yourself who's not there. And I got utterly overwhelmed by it. I remember thinking, that's exactly how I feel about Eddie and exactly how I feel about myself. It was sort of revelatory, really, that you could talk like that so clearly and plainly. Just, he looks at himself in the room. It was incredible, and it got me writing straight away. I put the book down and started writing about Eddie and how I felt. When you read, or you go to see plays, read poems, stories, it then also becomes a kind of library or a repertoire, like a repertoire theatre. And it isn't really like a set of facts, it's more like awarenesses or consciousnesses. And then you encounter something, and sometimes it can feel familiar because it's in your repertoire, you sort of know about it. You think you've been there before, and in a way you have. The great thing about reading is that it turns human experience, it turns all your experience into a kind of object that you can look at and turn over. So it's sort of a way of making life a sort of spectator sport. And one of the ways in which it's profound is when you are held or contained by the things going on. I mean, it is exactly as Aristotle describes it. This is the feeling of being held or contained by the drama and the pain of what's going on. And then it didn't happen to you, so the pain doesn't go on. You are in some way or another relieved because you've been held by it. And then I can see that in a 3-year-old reading Where the Wild Things Are, you know, that the tension builds, you can feel it as they're sitting in your lap, and then, ha ha ha, it's funny, and then they think about it again and go back to it because their feelings are contained by it. So it's got this wonderful humanity about it that links us from 1 and 2-year-olds right the way through to our last days. So that's what literature can do if you give yourself up to it.